The Manato situation is everything wrong with gacha games. Ever since it was revealed that the highly anticipated character Manato would be an A rank, all hell broke loose. On the one hand, you have some Manato fans expressing their disappointment, saying they wish he was an S rank instead, mostly out of fear of him being an underpowered character and the general desire for more high rarity good male characters. Other fans do not care if he's an S or A rank and are just happy he's gonna be playable. And a handful of players are saying and doing some really dumb stuff, like name calling, uninstalling, and review bombing the game. On the other hand, you have, let's call them waifu fans, making fun of Manato fans, calling them whiny losers, tourists, fake fans, toxic, and gay, because apparently people are still using gay as an insult. I'm just gonna say it right now, there are people on both sides that suck, need to calm down and start acting like adults. Places like the zenless subreddits are filled with people verbally attacking and lying about Manato fans and making mountains out of a molehill. For example, I saw a lot of people saying that the specific Manato subreddit was losing its mind. People were going on rampages, verbally attacking people, name calling, and more. So I decided to visit it, and I genuinely do not know what waifu fans are talking about. For 2 days straight, most of the posts were fairly normal, just sharing disappointment in a fairly healthy manner. Whether or not you agree with what they're saying is entirely up to you, but it wasn't anything super crazy. There were some extreme posts, but even in those posts, the replies tended to be more civil with a handful of exceptions. For example, there was one reply talking about the reason they are upset is because Manato was a really important character to them. Apparently, this person was going through some dark times and Manato helped them realize that they were gay. Of course, this is a very personal and extreme comment, but the general positive expression of disappointment is indicative of most replies. The comments in the zenless subreddits made me expect to see some truly unhinged stuff, but for the most part, I saw people expressing their disappointment in a fairly healthy manner. Also, let's not pretend like waifu fans are above doing and saying some insane things. Do I need to remind you of the time a Honkai Impact 3rd player tried to murder Dawei, a co-founder of mihoyo, because of the bunny suit incident? Or of that one player that hated Scaramouche so much he killed a cat? The most extreme thing I consistently saw was people saying they might uninstall the game, which is fair. If someone isn't happy with the game and they want to uninstall it, that's their prerogative. Hypothetically speaking, let's say the highly anticipated and popular character Miyabi was an A rank. People would be fully within their right to criticize that decision and uninstall if they felt that strongly about it. These smaller online communities are always going to have a minority of extreme, insane people, and they will express their disappointment in an unhealthy manner. But this idea that the entire subreddit was filled with insane, crazy people verbally attacking and harassing other players is simply not true. It's a lie made to make Manato fans seem crazy and unreasonable. Eventually, the moderators made a post saying that the toxicity would not be allowed and that some people need to stop being extreme. The most toxic thing I saw was the boycott, which as far as I can tell, started before the moderators got involved. I decided to check the most recent 1-star reviews on the Google Play Store and was genuinely surprised. While there were some really dumb reviews saying things like Gunner game bad or no men, fuck mihoyo, which of course are really stupid, these reviews are completely pointless and do not help in any way, shape, or form. Please do not do this. There were also plenty of valid, good faith criticisms. Whether or not you agree with any of it is for you to decide, but let me read you some. So I'm currently looking at my phone so I can't show you the reviews, but let me read you some. Trash game with very little male characters. Might as well call the game Menless Zone 0. Messed up the Manato ranking bad. If you like playing male characters, don't bother playing this. Now, of course, these are really bad reviews. They don't really add anything of value. They're not real criticisms. They're just people being upset and just saying dumb things. These are not good reviews. Now, let me read you some reviews that I do think are genuinely valid. I loved this game before. I think 1.1 to 1.4 was the most fun I've had. The TV mode and interesting stories and characters. The game has gotten stale. The story isn't that interesting anymore. The characters are well designed, but everyone has a sad backstory and it was getting old. But the 2.3 reveal was the final straw. 2 new S-rank female characters. Now the game will have a 1:7 male to female character ratio. I guess male characters only deserve to be A ranks, also the community is toxic as fuck. Now the story thing is a criticism that I've seen a lot of ever since version 2 released. A big portion of the player base, whether they are waifu fans, Manato fans, husbando fans, whatever, have been saying that they don't like the story, they don't like the new direction, and that's completely valid. If you don't like the story, that's fine. That is valid criticism. This review is clearly made from someone who used to love the game, but slowly over time, for various reasons, has slowly started to not like it anymore. The Manato thing is clearly the final straw, like they said. Here's another one. Game prioritizes profit over story. Zhu Yuan getting robbed of any meaningful closure and story at 1.4 was bad enough, but then they made Manato an A rank, even though he's been in the game since version 2.0, while the rest of Spook Shack have been in the game for less time than him. Also, the phone version isn't that good. Play it on PC or console if you have to. Once again, this is a completely valid review. The Zhu Yuan thing is something that I specifically agree with. I always thought it was weird that Zhu Yuan's story never got a proper conclusion in version 1.4. Zhu Yuan was directly connected to Bringer, or Fuller? Whatever his name was, the big bad guy. But for some reason in version 1.4, she didn't really do anything. She didn't interact with him, and she definitely didn't fight him. Instead, all of that time and investment went into Miyabi, who did not have a pre-established connection to him. So that specifically is completely valid criticism. Also, the final line of the phone version not being good is once again completely valid. The phone version of Zenless Zone Zero has always had problems. Now, whether or not you agree that Manato being an A rank is dumb because he's been heavily featured in the story is up to you if you agree with that or not. But in my opinion, that's valid criticism. It is kind of odd that this character that has been heavily featured in the story and did a lot of things ended up being a low rarity character. As you can see, while some people who participated in the review bombing had really bad reviews just saying nonsense and not providing anything of value, there were also some people providing completely valid criticism. I agree that review bombing can be bad and dumb, but it can also be good depending on the context. For example, Call of Duty sucks, so if people decided to get together and review bomb the newest game, that would be a good thing. Again, whether or not you agree with them, there were plenty of valid criticisms in the recent 1-star reviews. We as players have a very limited number of ways to get the attention of developers. Leaving low-star reviews is one of the ways to do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with making a concerted effort to leave an influx of critical 1-star reviews, but that's the key word, critical. The problem is that there were also a lot of dumb reviews saying things like no man bad, not offering anything of value. Also, let's not pretend like waifu fans are above review bombing and uninstalling the game because they are upset. These are the same type of players that go on massive rampages because Camilla's camel toe from Wuthering Waves got censored, or get mad because the nun Lucia got redesigned and split into 2 different characters. Ever since Yid Horror was revealed, people have been very vocal about their disappointment that the nun no longer exists. Why is that valid? Why is it okay to be vocal about the fact that you are upset that the nun no longer exists, but it's not okay to be upset that Manato is an A rank? It's the same thing. In case you didn't know, recently the English voice actress for Yuza posted a picture on Twitter of her standing in front of the lesbian flag. Do you know how the so-called self-proclaimed chillest community in the gacha space decided to respond? Well, obviously they did the correct thing and attacked her. Obviously, they sent her death threats and bullied her online and essentially forced her to apologize. Listen, I mentioned this in a recent video that although I myself am bisexual, I personally do not like or support most of the rainbow community for a lot of reasons. And I agree that sometimes these sexuality headcanons can get really weird and annoying and people can just get really extreme with it. But just posting a picture of a fictional character standing in front of a flag is not gonna hurt anybody. If you decided to attack somebody, to send them death threats because of this. Fuck you. There is something seriously wrong with you and you need professional help. Mind you, this is the exact same company that has had multiple canon lesbian characters in their various projects. Kiana and May being the obvious one, but you literally also have characters like Bronya and Sele, and Eden and Elysia, and so many others. So what? Just stop! Oh my god! It's not a big deal! Calm down! Ugh, I'm so tired, bro. I'm so sick and tired of this nonsense. I hate both sides, to be clear. I hate the people who are just constantly attacking others and throwing around slurs because somebody posted a goddamn picture of a fictional character next to a flag. Who cares? And I'm also tired of all of these rainbow people constantly acting like their headcanons are real. It's your personal headcanon. If you want to believe it, but stop acting like it's true and that people are like homophobic or something if they don't believe it. It's just whatever. And since I know some people are going to bring it up, what about Twitter? It was more of the same. Most Manato fans were either expressing their disappointment in a fairly healthy manner or were just telling jokes. Similarly, there were a handful of extreme tweets, but those were rare. Also, here's the thing. There are plenty of Manato fans that do not care that he is an A rank. They are just happy that he's going to be playable soon. So no, not every Manato fan is freaking out. Waifu fans would have you believe all Manato fans are upset when in reality it's only some, and even then, not everybody who plays zenless visits these online communities, so it's impossible to know how many Manato fans are actually upset, since most zenless players in general don't frequently go online in the first place. People like you and me, those of us that consistently visit and interact with these various communities, are the minority. Also, places like Reddit and Twitter are cesspools of anger and negativity. It isn't surprising that some unhinged people are doing and saying crazy things. It's par for the course. The thing that bothers me the most about this entire situation is the blatant lying and hypocrisy of the waifu players. A lot of people said they don't understand why some Manato fans are upset that he's an A rank. After all, you don't see people complain when female characters are A rank, except that's blatantly not true. A lot of people complained when Potra was revealed to be an A rank. Are we seriously just going to ignore that that happened, or are waifu fans trying to rewrite history in real time? Another thing that was frequently said is that waifu fans think being upset that Manato might be underpowered is stupid. After all, you can still clear content with Billy and Corbin, which is true. I've done the research personally. I made an entire video defending zenless from the power creep accusations that happened a couple months ago. So tell me, why are people still upset to this day that Silver Soldier Ambi is weak? People were constantly complaining about how weak she was when she was released, and currently there's a rumor going around that she might get buffs in the future similar to Ellen, and people are super happy about that. Speaking of Ellen, people were screaming left, right, backwards, and sideways about how weak she was and that she desperately needed a buff. But hey, I thought being underpowered didn't matter. So why were you celebrating when Ellen got a buff? And why are you happy that Silver Ambi might get one? Also, there's a difference between being able to clear content and being a good character. Billy, from day one, has been widely considered to be one of, if not the worst, DPSs in the game. Yes, he can clear a lot of the content in the game, but he heavily struggles to do so. You need very good builds and high execution gameplay, things that most people are not gonna be doing, because let's be honest, the vast majority of people who play zenless are casual players. They're people that just log in, play the characters that they like, and just have fun. They're not gonna be sweating every single time they play the game. Because of this, it's totally understandable that some Manato fans are worried that he's going to be an underpowered DPS. Is he going to be able to clear content? Yes, he will be, but how much is he going to struggle and how demanding is he going to be from a skill standpoint? That's the question. The amount of times I've seen people say, oh well, real fans would be happy and grateful for everything. How dare you criticize the game, you fake fan? Pisses me off. The zenless community famously hated the game when it was first released because of the TV system. A massive wave of negative comments and low star reviews flooded the game, and many people uninstalled. Eventually, the TV system was removed, and all of those players that uninstalled came back, celebrating their victory. Geez, I can't believe all of those fake fans and tourists did that. Real fans like me never quit the game. I'm a day one player and I never uninstalled. In fact, I liked the TV system because unlike you, I'm grateful for all the hard work the developers put into the system. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic, but it is true that I like the TV system. I made videos talking about it forever ago. This entire situation just proves to me how hypocritical that part of the zenless community is. The self-proclaimed chill gacha community is filled with a bunch of self-righteous liars and grandstanders. I said this in my video talking about the C-drama, but it's clear to me that criticism is not allowed in the zenless community. Why is it not okay for husbando enjoyers to be upset, but perfectly fine for waifu fans to be upset about the exact same things? These type of waifu fans that are in the zenless subreddits and are on Twitter seem to not realize that they are creating a toxic positivity bubble where you are not allowed to say anything remotely negative or critique the game, even if it is completely valid and well articulated. What's so funny to me is that these types of waifu fans that you can find on the subreddits or on Twitter are slowly becoming a community very similar to Genshin Impact, where you are only allowed to be toxically positive all the time. Any form of criticism, even if it is completely valid and well articulated, will be shut down. You will be attacked simply because you dared say anything even remotely negative. Some of these fans are becoming Genshin players and don't realize it, which is funny because these are also the same people that make fun of Genshin Impact fans. Luckily, there are some people in these subreddits like the zenless communities that are trying to calm everybody down, being like, hey guys, listen, I agree with you. I am a massive waifu fan. I don't like the male characters. I wish zenless just had more big butts and big boobies and half naked women or whatever. But we need to calm down. We can't just go attacking everybody that doesn't agree with us. Luckily, there are some normal, sane people in these communities, but the problem is that they're being drowned out. Every time somebody leaves a post or a comment like that, they get heavily downvoted and attacked. They're also being called fake fans just because they aren't participating in this attack against Manato fans. Listen, every online community is going to have crazy, insane, toxic fans, but pretending that everyone in a specific group is crazy is not okay. Just because you personally don't care about male characters does not make it okay to attack others because they do. Guess what? Zenless is not a waifu game. Male characters have always been here and they have always been popular. Ever since Lycon was first revealed, he has been one of the most popular characters in the game. Not only that, he is heavily utilized in the game itself, constantly appearing in the story and in marketing materials. Hell, he's being utilized right now in the collab with the car company thing. Lighter is a very popular character and he also had some great fan service. The version 2.1 story was constantly thirsting after Manato in its cutscenes, so clearly the game is catering to male enjoyers. Who cares about men? Zenless does. It always has from the very beginning. And because of that, if people are disappointed and want to voice their criticism about the male characters, they are 100,000% allowed to do so. Yes, some people took it too far, but this is the internet. Some people are always going to take it too far. You want to know what's crazy? Even the Eastern players are upset. Some people in China and Japan are upset by the fact that Manato is an A rank, expressing their desire for more good quality S rank male characters. Even some of the waifu only players are talking about how they wish Manato was an S rank just because they think he's cool and that he deserved it. And I know what you want to say. Oh, but these are just random comments. They aren't indicative of all the Eastern players. You know what? You're right. These are just some random comments, not indicative of every Eastern fan. So why are you pretending that some random comments on Reddit and Twitter are indicative of every Manato fan? Something else that bothers me is the fact that all of this entire situation, is the developer's fault. If Manato had originally released in version 2.1 as an A rank as originally planned, none of this would have happened. Sure, some people would have been upset, but it would have been a situation of the developers making a bad judgment call and not realizing that Manato would be super popular. Instead, they delayed him for seemingly no reason, giving people false hope only to keep him as an A rank. From a business perspective, this was beyond moronic. Clearly, the developers are aware of how popular he is, so the smart decision would be to make him an S rank and Yidhara an A rank. It's also odd because Manato is a heavily utilized character in the story, being in version 2.0 and version 2.1. It would make sense to make him an S rank, but instead they chose to make a completely brand new character an S rank instead. That would be like turning Miyabi into an A rank and turning Seth into an S rank. This entire situation is everything that I hate about gacha communities. Some Manato fans are taking things way too far and doing and saying some extreme things, and some waifu fans are using this situation as an excuse to mindlessly attack other players and spread a bunch of misinformation, making things worse in the process. People on both sides suck, and situations like this are the reason why gacha communities are a cesspool of anger and toxicity. Everybody is constantly screaming at each other for no good reason. You want to know what really sucks about this entire situation? At the end of the day, everybody involved, whether it be the waifu fans just looking for any excuse to attack the so-called enemy, the tourists, the fake fans, the gays, the whatever, and all of the Manato fans and husbando fans that take things way too far and attack people and call them slurs like homophobic or whatever nonsense. All of us don't even make up 1% of the total amount of people who actually play Zenless Zone Zero. All of us are toxically online, and we are only hurting our small little bubble, our small little community. We are just making this extremely small bubble, this experience, so much worse for literally no reason. Every single update, I swear, there is some kind of stupid drama happening, and it just makes everything worse. The experience of being a community and hanging out and talking about a game that supposedly we all love. It might be for different reasons, but at the end of the day, supposedly we all love this game. We're just making the experience worse for literally no goddamn reason. None of this is actually going to affect the game. I hope you understand that. The Manato fans that are like review bombing and doing all of this stuff, that's not going to change anything. I hope you understand that. And all of the waifu fans who are attacking the husbando fans and the Manato fans, hoping that they'll quit the game and that way you'll be able to get your precious waifu game that never even existed in the first place because the game has always had men. Nothing is gonna change. I hope all of you understand that. I'm gonna be honest. I am so sick and tired of all of this fucking nonsense. It's every fucking gacha game. Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, fucking, I don't know, Nikkei probably. I haven't played that game in forever, but there's probably some stupid drama happening right now. Every single gacha game, it's always the same bullshit, and I'm sick and tired of it. I don't even know why I bother. I don't know why I go to these fucking communities, because I'm so tired. I'm over it, bro. Oh my god. Everybody just needs to shut the fuck up, I swear. Anyways, oh, Jesus. All of that being said, the video's over. Feel free to share your own thoughts on this entire situation down below. While you're at it, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you really like the video and want to more directly support me, become a channel member for just $5 a month. Click the join button next to the subscribe button or click the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.